Mindset versus strategy. Which one is more important in growing a successful real estate career? Now, there's no arguing that both are critical, but the answer might surprise you. I mean, listen, strategy itself is critical. If you don't have the right presentations, the right scripts, the right lead gen program, the right systems, you can get buried quickly if you don't have the correct strategy. However, if your mindset is not right in this business, even having the correct strategy won't be enough to get you there. You might be able to have a small win here or there. You might be able to stick around for a little while, but if your mindset is not right, the strategy doesn't matter. Here's why. No matter how great a strategy, they all take time. Nothing's a magic pill that works in a day. So without that immediate reward, you need your mindset to be right to help you stick with it, to stay consistent. There's a lot of rejection no matter how good your strategy is. You need to be able to fight through that and keep moving forward. You have to be able to do it every day. You can't just do it here or there. If your mindset is not right, you can't wake up and do the same thing the next day. Eventually, you're going to get bored. Eventually, you're going to want to do something else. If your mindset is not right, you won't be able to be in the game long term to be successful. And I also wrote down, there's too many ups and downs. In this business, there's deals that fall apart. There's a seller that loves you. There's a seller that's mad at you. There's a buyer who loves you. There's a buyer who's mad at you. You're a week before closing and the deal falls apart, or you had multiple offers and then there were zero. Right? There's just way too much that can go. There's too many ups and downs, right? And if your mindset is not right, that emotional roller coaster is very tough to stick to. And no matter how disciplined someone is, it's natural to have frustrations. It's natural to question yourself. But if you don't put some things into place, you're not giving yourself a chance. So this video is going to be about how we can build that mindset muscle, because thankfully it is a muscle. You can strengthen it, right? We're not going to be talking too much strategy in this video. If you like what you hear in this video and you want another video that is more designed for strategy, you think you have the mindset stuff down, or you're starting to put these principles in place and you want more strategy, drop a comment below. Happy to send you a great video on strategy to follow up with. But for this one, we are focusing on mindset. So if it's helpful, press subscribe. That's a great way that tells me if the content resonates, if I should make more videos relating to this topic. So the good news, as I said, is mindset can be strengthened. So I wrote down a few things any agent can do to strengthen their mindset. And they are all important. It's hard to say what's more important than the next. And as I'm going through them, you might be like, what does this have to do with selling real estate? Bear with me. We'll get to that as we go. So the first one is reading. It sounds simple. As a kid, I hated to read. I did not read. When I was assigned to read in school, I would skim through. I would figure out how to get around it. I would just do anything but read. As I became an adult, and specifically as I started my real estate career, I started diving into books, trying to learn. So when you read, it can be learning. It can be self-help. It could be fiction. It could be nonfiction. Don't just focus on one type of book. Read a lot of different content, a lot of different areas. It expands your mind and exposes you to things that a lot of times you wouldn't know otherwise. It helps you get out of your comfort zone, right? And it keeps your mind sharp. There's something about the process of us reading words and letters on a page that keeps our brain sharp. This is great for our mindset. Not to mention, If we have a reading goal, a certain time of day that we do it, a certain number of pages each day. When we actually do that, when we're supposed to, we're now training our brain that we do what we say we're going to do. That builds willpower. That strengthens your mindset. So reading is the first thing I wrote down on the list. Second thing I wrote down, journaling. If you're like me or most of us humans in the world, we can be very negative. Our brains are trained to find the negative. We can think about negatives all day. It is very hard for us to actually realize how far we've come and to realize all of our wins. So when you journal, when you take the time to write things down, you are reinforcing some of the great things about your day. It's okay to write down some challenging things too. And what that will do is get you to think about how you can handle that situation differently next time. So it's a great way to celebrate your wins. It's a great way to get your mind to think about how you can handle challenging situations. And it clears your mental space. It takes everything that's been weighing you down, that you've been rethinking about the day, it puts it on paper, and it can be freeing, which is all really good for creating a strong mind. The third thing I wrote down is affirmations. If you don't know what an affirmation is, it is when you say something out loud over and over again until your body, till your being believes it. I am a great real estate agent. I sell one home every week. I provide great customer service. I am the best agent in the marketplace. I am the best agent for this job. This seller's going to hire me. You can create your own affirmations. Why are these important? Well, this one's powerful. What we think about, and what we spend enough time thinking about, we start to become. It creates more thoughts, which ultimately create more actions that put us on the right track. So seeing ourselves, believing that we are the future person we want to be, has to start from somewhere. We have to start talking about it. We have to start saying it out loud. We have to start thinking about it in our brain. And saying these affirmations out loud actually help you refocus and start to think about becoming that person, which strengthens your mindset and starts to train your brain that you can do things that you weren't doing today, which is critical. I just read a great book about Muhammad Ali, and something that was all through the book, ever since he was a young boxer, he would say these, I don't know if it was intentional, but he would just say it to whoever would listen. I'm the greatest boxer of the world. I'm the champ. Nobody can beat me. Da-da-da. He would go on and on and on. Anybody that was around him said it was nonstop, in front of the cameras, not in front of the cameras. It's all he talked about was that he was the greatest. Now, I'm not saying that you need to go to that length, but I am saying he was one of the greatest boxers in his era or all time, or whatever your opinion is. You can't deny he was good, very good. And this is something that he just did over and over. Sooner or later, your brain starts to believe what you're saying. So, affirmations are powerful. Choose it wisely, because you will start to believe it. You will start to become it if you do it every day. Now, all of these things I'm sharing, they don't create a strong mindset if you do it once a week, once a month, every other day. These are things you have to do every single day. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to journal for an hour. 5 minutes. Spend 10 minutes reading, 5 minutes journaling, 2 minutes on it, 1 minute on affirmations. You can get a lot of positive affirmations out in a minute, right? Next one I wrote down, meditate. This is one of my favorites. As I had started the habit of reading years back, a lot of the books that I read talked about meditating and all the health benefits. And I said, if this is coming up in so many different books in so many different ways, like it wasn't just one benefit. If you Google, there's a plethora of health benefits to meditating for your body and your mind. I said, you know what, this keeps coming up, I'm gonna give it a try, right? It is a great way to slow things down. And one of the most powerful things I believe that it gives me is during the day, it makes me less reactive, right? It helps me pause, right? Just taking that time to settle down try to settle down your mind. Because sometimes you'll try to meditate and it doesn't work. You just got thoughts in your head popping. That's natural. That's natural. It's okay. You're still going through the process, right? Start with a minute or 2 minutes or 3. When I started with 3 minutes, and then I built up to 5 and up to 10, right? Now I'm at 10. But the time doesn't matter. It's the consistency of doing it every day. And at first it's going to be very hard. And even, I'm not an expert meditator by any means. Some days my mind gets the best of me and my meditation passes and I just thought about a bunch of stuff and I wasn't able to silence my mind, right? And I don't think that's important. What I do think is important is making the time to do it, sitting in silence, quiet room for a certain amount of time and doing it each day. And that has just effects on our body that I won't get into here. That's not my expertise. What I do know is when you do it every day, it trains your willpower muscle. It helps you become less reactive and calm in stressful situations. And let's face it, we are hit with stressful situations a lot in this business. The next thing I wrote down is exercise. I mean, this one is, I know, a lot of people are probably going to shut off the video at this point. It's, again, just like meditation, there's a plethora of health benefits. We won't get into it. I was a teacher for 11 years before I was a real estate agent, and I was a physical education teacher. So I am pretty passionate about exercise and the positive effects on the body and your mind. It helps you feel better about yourself, helps you feel more confident, gives you more energy. All of these things are critical in the job that we do, and critical for having a strong mindset to deal with the ups and the downs. Not to mention, one of my favorite things about exercise, let's face it, this business, there's so much to think about. You're always trying to figure out how to sell a home or generate leads or what have you, or make a client happy. It can really wear on you mentally. Exercise is a great way to take that away. Kind of like journaling, right? It forces you to focus on something else. If you're really exercising hard, you're going to be able to remove kind of the stresses that you've been thinking about throughout the day and clear your mind, which is great for your mindset. The next thing I wrote down is change your frame. And a great way to do this is by asking yourself a different question. We all get to the point of the day where we get to something we don't want to do. Or maybe it's make a lead gen call. Maybe it's talk to a tough client. Maybe it's, you had to tell a seller a deal fell through or a buyer a deal fell through, right? Whatever it is, we all have things we don't want to do. So change your frame. Instead of looking at it like, oh my gosh, I don't want to make this call or I don't want to do this activity. Ask yourself a question that recenters the big picture. Now, something silly that I tell myself with these things is, if it was easy, everybody would do it, right? So if I want results that most other real estate agents don't have, I have to be willing to do things that most agents aren't willing to do. And I have to do them consistently, even when I don't want to. And for whatever reason, that gets me going. Like, yeah, this is my job today. Or I'll think of a great story that a mentor told me in my early years where, there's always two roads in this business. There is, the easy road, nice and clean, the streets are washed, you go down that road and it's great, but when you get to the end, there's nothing really there. And then you go on the other road is it's got bushes and thorns and it's potholes and there's cliffs and you may need to get out of your car and climb or what have you, but at the end of that road is what's most rewarding, right? So having little, and there's a million analogies, questions along these lines that you can ask yourself. Find one write it down by your desk or wherever your workstation is. That will keep you moving forward. Now, when you put all this together, you start to train your brain that you can do hard things. You start to train your willpower, which makes your mindset stick with the tasks that you need to do to become successful in this business. So I'm not here today to act like I've got it all figured out, but I do believe sharing this is critical, because if no one shared it with me, I would still be teaching my phys ed class, which again, nothing wrong with that. It's just I wanted to make real estate a career, and I couldn't figure out how to do it. And the mindset stuff, once I finally learned that and started working on that, it helped me get through all the other strategy. That becomes the easy part, the strategy. It's sticking with it, not giving up when it's hard, dealing with the rejection, doing the same thing every day. That is critical. So if you do want that strategy video next, drop a comment below. Happy, you got the mindset stuff down, great. Or maybe you work on this for a little while and you want a little bit more on strategy. Happy to send that to you. Don't be shy. If you have questions, we get calls, texts, emails. My team and I, from people who watch these videos all the time. I'm always happy to help. Make it a great day.